Naturally, after I was grown and the gay gene, I started talking a lot about the gay gene. So I naturally looked at my dad and others I knew around that had gotten into what I thought homosexual activities. I was thinking all the time, well, is this coming from inheritance or what? Now I want to say that I was molested first by someone I thought he was having an affair with. And then later on, my grandfather's main hired man started molesting me when was walking down through the field to my grandmother's house. He didn't do much at all, but he just made a very frightening gesture to me, like I was like 10 years old, and he jumped upon a horse behind me.
Did you say you were going down to grandmother's house?
Yeah, I was going down.
Through the woods or anything like that?
Yeah, I was going
Doesn't
through.
Does this sound like a story you might
Yeah, the wolf
Little
got
Red,
me.
what's your name again?
Yeah, Little Red Riding
man,
Hood
the
got
big-
caught by the wolf.
The big bad, came out and molested you.
That's right. He jumped up on the horse and he put his hands around and started, and I thought, oh my goodness. Well, I knew he was a bad guy, so I didn't, and I was always scared to death to say anything because I knew he had a very hot temper, and I just felt that would push him into, I couldn't possibly fight with this man, He had all the advantages, and so again, it was the same thing. I was just overwhelmed by the idea of, now I tell my dad, tell my granddad, and I knew that he also had a lot of relatives in that town, and I knew that they would just be absolutely furious and would, but he would deny it, of course, and they would take his part, and the prospects of all this fighting and emotionalism over a gesture that he had made to me, but it didn't stop at that, of course. I mean, this man actually started becoming obsessed, as far as I was concerned, with me, of finding me alone. Now, this was pretty hard to do because he would have to watch me. Well, the main time after that he was able to get me alone was I would be out driving cattle when the roundup came, and my dad would send me down in the draw to get cattle, and I would look up and there he would be, and I'd think, oh, what? I knew he had been watching me in order to get down there. He knew that I'd probably be going down there, and because all kinds of cattle would be straying up there, and we'd have to go and get them, and so, and every time that he'd come down there with I came to help you. And then before he would leave, or we would get to where people could see us off of that trail, he would ride up and grab me, somewhere in a very sexual way. And I was still a child. I was not even in puberty. Yeah. Well, he would grab my leg mostly, and just like a guy would, I was his girlfriend, and well.
Grab your leg. Jeez.
Yes, and and the next thing I thought, he's going to pull me off. He's going to do something. And I hadn't gone into puberty yet.
I had a guy grab my leg one time.
Yes.
In high
What
school.
happened? Yeah.
Well, it was in gym or wrestling.
Oh.
I never did like that position. You ever see the wrestling in gym? One guy's on top of the other guy.
Yeah, I've always. That's
Hey,
always
Charlie, you grab my leg like that one more time, I'm a cold cock. That's right. I don't care if the Greeks did this naked. We still have gym clothes on, so don't forget that. There's other people standing around watching.
Well, yes, there's some.
Well, sick people in this world.
What? Well, I thought that this guy was definitely sick.
Now, if he'd have grabbed me someplace else, I'd have really been upset.
Yes. Well.
And I think you get my drift on this one, right?
Yes, I really do, because that's always bothered me, naturally being alerted. And so, anyway, I had to look at his origin. I thought, well, what? And he went to work for my grandfather when he was very young. He was trying to be a cowboy. So I began to wonder if that wasn't the price that he paid to be a cowboy.
To be a cowboy?
My dad was older.
Did you ever see that movie?
And
The Last Picture Show?
no, oh yeah, I saw that.
The kid is talking to the Ben Johnson, you know, I want to be a cowboy. And what did Ben Johnson say?
What did he say?
What did he say?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Please inform us.
The gist of it is, you don't want to be a cowboy. A cowboy, if you can't do anything else in life, then you're a cowboy.
Well, yes.
And if you
that
don't
might
believe
be
me,
so,
watch the movie.
But yeah, but there was a glamour attached to being
And
a
Ben
cowboy.
Johnson,
You got
Ben
horses.
Johnson was a cowboy.
Fast, I know.
I know.
You got fast horses, and in those days there were hardly any cars. These young guys that got their fast horse and would be riding it around the town. While
But
the
you
girls
had
would all be
chariots,
around them
so
like-
didn't you have chariots?
I did. I thought cowboys were very romantic, and there was a glamour. So I thought, well, I knew that if this young boy, it'd be just like my cousin. He was old enough to go to work, but is that the price he paid? Well, what does all this have to do with the gay gene? My feeling is that no matter how you come to homosexual feelings, you can't help your circumstances where you might go to, like this young guy, he was come from a very poor family, he had to go to work, he needed a job.
Like my cowboy shirt?
Oh yeah, cowboy shirt, that's good. It fits.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to go.
Cowboy boots?
The cowboy boots of Arizona. I have them on too. So it's this idea of, I don't think the gay gene has been proved to be present in any numbers. Like, it looked to me like all the guys that were getting together with older guys that were interested in this sort of thing, they were trying, they were getting into some of these activities. They were either coerced, or they were got them drunk, or the wild boys, the rebels, the ones that I thought that they were the ones that most likely to. And I think some of them were, as children, they were targeted. My idea is that there's a certain tight-looking kid, a very cute kid, kind of could be sort of feminine in some of his features, just pretty boys. They get targeted, and whether do they have gay genes, I don't. But I do know this, I think they're targeted their whole lives. Somebody is looking at them from the male side, as well as the girls, or the women, or the female. They're looking at them saying, oh, boy, that kid, he's really gonna, they're attracted to him. Well, what might that do to a pretty boy who has felt this kind
Aren't you
of...
glad I'm one of the ugliest old bastards you've ever seen?
Well, were you a pretty boy? I can't see you as
What do you
being-
mean? Pretty boy.
I've seen some really pretty boys. And invariably,
I was one of the
I know I
ugliest,
got
I was one of the
crushes on
ugliest
him.
kids you ever saw.